The question, though, I have for you as well is that, your mutual agent, when the whole long-term agreement fell apart on the July 15th deadline, said that Le'Veon was still going to come in. He did say that let's put it this way. He intimated it would be the same thing. They'd run it back from last year, that he'd be there from Jump Street. On barring something extraordinary. So something extraordinary happened. Was it the Gurley contract?
I think it was. I think it was the Todd Gurley contract. I think it then was after that the player speaking out. I think it then was after that seeing David Johnson's contract. And, the difference in guarantee. So for all our listeners and people that are watching, as a running back, you don't look at the total number. So it may be $80 million. Sure. As a running back, you don't see, majority of the time running backs don't see that. I think Adrian Peterson signed a $100 million deal and didn't see all of it. He only got 3 years of that. So you focus on the guarantee because our position is so brutal. It's so tough. You get hit every play. The Steelers are offering Le'Veon $19 million guaranteed. I don't think that's a real good number when you see David Johnson sign a 3, and they were signing a 4 or 5 year deal with that, where David Johnson signed a 3-year deal for 30, and then Todd signs a $45 million deal. Like, that becomes what we call disrespect?
Sure, absolutely. But to start torching up $850,000 checks each week, and that's money you could say now hold on a second. I know what your response is going to be. Money he's never going to get back, but if he does keep the tread off the tires, he would be able to last longer into a deal and see more of that back-end money that people like Adrian Peterson did not see. But that's not a guarantee either.
It's really not. But he had to weigh these options, right? And so obviously he chose to sit out and wait. It's funny because when you say it, I have buddies that come like, man, I can't believe he's giving up 800, and it's a crazy number to think about.
It is a crazy number.
But the numbers in the NFL are so crazy. Like, even now, I'm like, dude, like, he's making that number is like twice as much as I was making when I was playing, or more than that. Way more than twice. But that's just the way the league's going. He deserves more than that, though, and I think he understands that he's earned more than that. He's done the things necessary to do that. People are going to talk about some mistakes that he made as a younger kid. Well, there's other players in this league that have made mistakes as well, and they still gotten paid. And so, again, this is I want people to understand, like, this is literally business at its finest. The NFL is a $11 billion business, and you have players who are businessmen, and you have owners who are businessmen. You have to respect both sides. And I think over the last couple of weeks, you're starting to see that kind of weigh out a little bit, where people are like, okay, now I understand why he's doing this. Because you see week one, right out, they come in, they give James Conner 37 touches.
That's the tread on the tire that he wants to avoid. I understand. But it's also tough to, like, people are seeing Le'Veon Bell and not thinking NBA, they're seeing TMZ. It's an interesting way that he's spending his time away from the team.
He's a music artist as well, and he has other things. He's doing other things as well. He's still training and staying in great shape.
He looks great. Oh, so week 11, is that when we're going to see him? I know you don't speak for him. I know you don't speak for him.
I wrote an article saying I wouldn't show up till week 11. If I could do my holdout all over again, I wouldn't have shown up to week 11. That's me seeing that obviously after I did it. I don't know when he's going to come back. I really don't, and I've tried to pry it out of my agent. He won't spill the beans.
But he has to show up.
But he will show up. Yeah, he'll show up. I
mean, at some point for the business part of this to get where he wants to go for complete freedom, he will be playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
By week 11 for sure. He has to show up by then in order to be a free agent for next year.
Do you think they'd be 3-0 if he started the season?
I think they would be 3-0 if their kicker can make a field goal.
Do you think that the Steelers would be 3-0 if Le'Veon Bell was active and on the team and paid and happy?
Oh yeah, I think it'd be a different game if Le'Veon was on the field and everyone was happy.
Because the answer in Pittsburgh that people say is he doesn't play defense. Mahomes still would have carved him up.
They didn't play defense last year, and they went 13-3. Right? I mean, their defense was okay. Shazier did some good things, but they still were able to make runs. The locker room. This is something for everyone to understand too. Football is played in the locker room. It's not the coaches can call whatever play you want, but if the players in the locker room are comfortable with it and they execute it, and it's not I don't want to call it, if their locker room is tight and cohesive and they know what they're doing, they're fine. Right now, you have a lot of stuff going on in that Pittsburgh locker room. You have a lot of people with different opinions about different things that are very vocal, and they have to fix that first. And I think that was one thing that I learned in Jacksonville is that how important that locker room is, because if we're all on the same page, you're going to win games. And you see this team, how they black up Blake Bortles when people talk trash about him. You see how they're able to respond when Leonard Fournette goes out. I think if you look at the Rams locker room the same way, you don't hear a lot of nonsense coming out of their locker room. You don't hear a lot of anything coming out of that locker room but positive stuff about what they have to do to play the next game or how they feel about their teammates. The locker room is really important, so you have to fix that first before it starts to translate on the field.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.